Gamers, we're back yet again with more The Binding of Isaac. With a 1 streak. The 1 streak is real. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of use out of that one. And we're having a good time. I do have to tell you, I don't have much to say on the media maxing front today. I did watch, for the Peloton movie of the day, I did watch David Cronenberg's 91-minute long film, A History of Violence. And my review of A History of Violence is, I think I'm missing something. And I'm not just saying that to be like, to cover my tracks. While watching this movie, I was like, seems to me to be a pretty straightforward story about a man with perhaps ambiguous origins. Wait a second, I think we want to pop this, go back with this, re-roll it, grab it, bookworms incoming. Yeah, and then, oh, I grabbed it too early and now I have nothing charged. That's kind of weird, but a man of an ambiguous past, perhaps forced to confront that past in light of some events that happened in his hometown. It was one of those movies where I kind of expected a deeper meaning going in. And then when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is like a reasonably, I don't know, interesting or entertaining film. And then I looked up other people's reviews of it, and apparently there was a deeper meaning at play that I just did not get. So I think it would be dishonest to not leave my review, which is 3 stars and a heart. But it's not a 3 stars and a heart, or sorry, 3 stars and no heart. Not to damn them with faint praise, but it's not like I'm saying everyone else is crazy, this movie's a 3-star movie. It's really just, while watching it, I was like, I sort of wish that I was able to grasp onto the stuff that other people got that made this movie so much more interesting for them than it was for me. But you know what? It happens. And sometimes it happens the other way. Sometimes people are like, NL, why did you give Jacob's Ladder 5 stars? Well, I gave it 5 stars because it's a 5-star movie. To me, at least. It's just something about it. As I was watching it, I went, this is 5 stars, man. A History of Violence, just didn't think it was bad, but for some reason just didn't pick up on the same stuff other people picked up on. There was also, I think I have it confused with Eastern Promises a little bit, or I had it confused with Eastern Promises. Because the whole time I was waiting for someone to have a Russian accent. I was like, I know this movie. Viggo Mortensen is in the Russian mob. Get to the end of the movie, nobody's got a Russian accent. I'm like, what's going on, man? I was lied to. Great start to this run so far. Holy cow, you could not ask for more than this. Except I could have gone back and re-rolled the library, but this is pretty solid stuff, man. That's what's going on in the media maxing front. Otherwise, having a good day over here. Having kind of a weird month of, or a couple of weeks at least, of weather, Vancouver-wise. It's been unbelievably sunny, and Vancouver, if you're not familiar, is probably, I mean, there might be warmer towns, but it's Canada's warmest city for sure. Even in the wintertime, it doesn't get much below 0 degrees Celsius, if even that on average. Like this week has been like low single digits in the positive direction. But we're very weird about weather. I feel like in the summertime, I always see people wearing like parkas and winter coats. And then now we have like the opposite going on, where it's been really sunny and really cold, but I see people outside wearing shorts. It's like they always, God love them, they don't dress for the weather that is. And you might be saying, by the way, oh, huge. You might be saying, NL, perhaps have you ever considered that they might be just dressing in the way that's most comfortable for them? No, get it twisted. The only reason anybody ever dresses in any fashion at all is to signal to other people that they are better than the temperature in which it is. I know you're going to say that's not true. You're going to say, no, I wear shorts when it's -10 outside because it's comfortable. No, it's not. Being a little warmer is more comfortable than wearing shorts. I don't know who you are, and I don't know where you're from. And I don't care what you did, as long as you love me. It's something the Backstreet Boys said, but I don't care who you are. The rest of them I might care a little bit about, but I don't care who you are. Having your legs covered, at least by denim, on a genuinely cold winter day is worth the comfort trade-off of having like a denim waistband instead of an elastic waistband. They even make like very, very comfy jeans these days Oh, I guess we're going back in for no reason. That have a semi-stretchy waistband while holding their form. You're on an antiquated pant meta if you're like only shorts are comfortable. I'm telling you that the pant game has come a long way. I'm getting pretty stoked, man. I'm getting pretty stoked. I guess what I was going to say was that Vancouverites, they dress for the weather they want to have. The same way you dress for the job you want to have. It's almost like a superstitious ritual. It's like when it's in the summertime, people put on layers. And when it's in the wintertime, they're like, oh, maybe I'll go swimming today. In a way, it keeps Mother Nature guessing, so you gotta respect it. Getting pretty stoked, though. January's already more than half over. I don't think I've ever done a month tier list, because I really feel like the video would be like 5 minutes long, because almost everybody, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, is going to agree on the month tier list within reason, at least on the broad strokes. Early deal with the angel? This is a thing? I think I would absolutely pick this up, and then, hey, stop that. Probably re-roll the key piece to try to become another angel. This is the strongest run we've had from the jump in a long time. You keep this burning, you get like a high stat increase, right? Like, I feel like we would all agree the winter months after New Year are the worst. I think you also, for us to have this conversation, and I say this a lot online, but for us to have this conversation, you guys have to be a little bit of a grown-up, okay? What I mean for you by being a little bit of a grown-up is whatever month your birthday is, you don't give it extra points just because it's your birthday. Because otherwise, we could accidentally get mired in the woods of like, oh, November is actually an awesome month. And then you find out that you've been arguing with some dude that's born on like November 13th or something like that. Like, they're compromised. So if your birthday's in January or February, you have to leave that to the side. All other things being equal, the winter months are the worst because the weather is peak bad. I know some of you are going to say, actually, the weather's peak bad in the summer. We'll get to that. The winter's worse. Shortest days of the year, coldest days of the year. And don't hit me with something like, I like when the days are shorter. Okay, bro, just close your eyes. Don't make it the rest of us problem. December, a winter month in spirit, if not fully contained within a winter on a calendar level, but that's literally like Julius Caesar's fault, so I'm not gonna take any losses for that. December gets a pass because of its density of holidays and the expectation of time off. So that elevates it above the other winter months. I would say January, February, the two worst months. Whether you put January above February or vice versa, maybe 100% boils down to how you feel about Valentine's Day or something like that. New Year's is January 1st, but like, I mean, that's like a very, very small chunk of January. It's exactly as long as Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day is in a shorter month, so it takes more of February, which could be a better or worse depending on how you feel about Valentine's Day. After that, things get interesting. There's only 12 months, so you can't make it last too long. I am a believer that the next worst month, in Canada at least, is November. And I say that as someone who has a November birthday. Why November? Weather's getting cold and rainy, at least here. Other places cold and snowy. We have no major holiday. In October, we have our Thanksgiving. Heretofore known as Thanksgiving, until recent, transborder discourse cools down a little bit. So we have Thanksgiving in October, so we don't have that American Thanksgiving buff. So I just feel like November's got like very little going on. And it has the debuff of not being December, when things are starting to, slow down a little bit as well. Following that, I think I go March. And the reason I go March is because I don't respect it for flip-flopping. You're not quite spring, you're not quite winter. So at least with August, you know where you stand. In August, you're like, it's going to be hot. I'm going to dress like it's going to be hot because it's August. Hey, should I wear a sweater today? Bro, it's August. Like, you don't even need to check the weather report, okay? Obviously, we go spider mod. This feels like a run where, if we're in this for the long term, we do some donations here. So after that, so it's January, February, November, March. Now, why don't we start working from the other side? Best months. I'm a big June guy. June, the weather's usually not too hot. You still have the spiritual elation that comes from colder weather, starting to become warmer weather, but you're not usually in the midst of a heat wave. If you're a little kid, you're getting time off from school. If you're the parent of a little kid, your kid's getting time off from school, but I'm not going to hold that against it because that's, you know, unique to my well, not unique, but it's part of my individual circumstance here. I think you go June as maybe the top month of the year. And what's number 2? I'm going to hit you with the inverse June, September. September is basically just June on the downslope, which makes it a little bit worse because the good times are leaving instead of just coming around. But the good times are still there. Plus the weather's getting a little chilly. It's nice. Now I feel like the remainder of this is climate-based. Whether you prefer summer, spring, or fall is going to be climate-based. I have become a bit of a fall head myself, so I might even go June, September, October, because it's slightly cooler, cozier weather, but you can still go outside without a jacket most of the time. Switch from cold coffee drinks to hot coffee drinks, maybe. I'll get a pumpkin spice latte, which I've never done myself, but I mean, never say never. Then maybe like July, August. And then, it's hard though, it's hard. Am I really gonna be the fool that puts July, August over May? Nah, I can't do that. I think I would go June, September, October, May, July, August, December, November. This is a good exercise for keeping this stuff in my head. February, January. I really do feel like January is the worst month. Because it's the delta you get from going from the high of the holidays to the low of January, the worsening weather, and then also all the chores you only have to do once a year get immediately reset, i.e., you know, not just your taxes, but there's got spring cleaning coming. Maybe there will come a time where I'll start to look forward to that stuff, but for now I know where I stand. I don't want to use all my keys. That one's pretty good value for me, actually. How about this one? Nothing? Okay, I'm going to use all my keys. Hermit card, jockey. We're going to steamroll this run, by the way. So I guess I am going to do a month's tier list. And by the way, if I forgot a month, I apologize. And also the other thing, do yourself a favor. Don't start hitting me with stuff like, actually the days start to get shorter in June. Because that's when the solstice is. Okay, bro. Like, technically correct. But the days don't start to really feel noticeably shorter, at least where I live. Until you start to feel it in like maybe late October, maybe mid-October. But when it really gets bad is right after that daylight savings. When it's like 5:45 and it's getting dark outside, and then 2 days later it's 4:42 and it's getting dark outside, and you're like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Doesn't seem, it boggles the mind. It defies good sense. So anyway, there's my thoughts on the subject. You could spin 20 minutes of dialogue out of literally any topic on the planet. Everyone can do that, man. You just got to get used to it. I was telling Kate, I don't necessarily think this is like actionable advice. And I do think it's possible to be a streamer or a YouTuber and still have a fear of public speaking. I was telling Kate that I literally feel no anxiety when it comes to public speaking at all anymore. Just, I think, because of how much I've talked. And I mean that so sincerely that I think if you gave me the microphone at a Vancouver Canucks game during the intermission and you said, keep these people entertained for 15 minutes. I'm not suggesting I could keep them entertained for 15 minutes, especially like the crowd wants blood because the team sucks so bad this year. But I could at least keep talking for 15 minutes with absolutely no prompting prior to that. I could keep the stream of consciousness going. There's no shot you're gonna catch me with the microphone going, I think I could keep it spinning. Now, is that actually a genuine talent? I think that is debatable. Okay, we lost soul immediately. Speaking of talent, and I have fears, man, for sure, rational or irrational. Which one would you call heights, man? Heights is kind of like a rational irrational fear, or an irrational rational fear. It's rational because falling from a high place could potentially kill you, if not just wound you really badly. But it's irrational because you're like inside of a safe thing. It's like it would be rational for a caveman to be scared of heights. But I am not a caveman. But I am a caveman. Genetically speaking, I'm basically a caveman. Culturally speaking, I'm worse. Culturally speaking, I've regressed way past that attachment that they had to family and tradition and so on and so forth, the earth to nature and knowing where their food comes from and stuff like that. So I've lost all that. But like genetically, I'm still holding that around caveman levels, I suppose. There's been changes, but not a ton of changes, I would have to imagine. They're calling it the worst room to have gone to. The room to have had no reason to have gone to in human history. One of the rooms of all time. Heights is a big one, though. Heights is a funny one because, like, you could be, like, scared of heights. Well, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. Why would I guess because the luck upgrade isn't that bad. Heights is a funny fear because it feels like one of the only fears that is like self-reinforcing, like a self-fulfilling fear. Because if you're not afraid of heights, and there are people way more scared of heights than me, but I feel the same sort of sensation that they feel, I think just to a lesser magnitude. The fear of heights is really like, I don't want to be here, I'm too high up, this doesn't feel right, I feel like I'm in danger. And the way that it manifests is by you being 100% unconfident in standing still. You are never more likely to fall than when you're in a high place and you have a fear of heights, because all of a sudden, you're like, I don't feel like my feet are steady anymore. I don't feel like you forget how to stand up. You don't necessarily get stricken to the ground, but like the way you would normally feel confident, like taking a step forward, that you were not going to fall over to the side, that no longer exists when you have a fear of heights. Not that I'm saying nobody knows what it's like. I'm just spitballing. Like if you have a fear, like Maury Povich style, of eating pickles, that makes you way less likely to eat a pickle. But having a fear of heights, I have to believe, makes you slightly more likely to fall off of a high place, just because you lose your balance. But I would also feel maybe on a lifetime scale, it makes you less likely to die of a heights-related thing, because if there's something with heights, you're like, I'm just not going to go to that. I'm just going to stay down here on the ground. So I don't know, maybe there is like a protective aspect to it. Not really, I don't have any data, so there ain't really that much to talk about, if I'm being honest with you. It's just one man's experience. Just conjecture, really. I used to say it's because I don't get out much, but now I'm out of the house all the time. But the thing is, I'm not learning that much about the world around me, because most of my time out of the house, you're just doing the same stuff, you know? You're out of the house driving or going to the grocery store. Not really broadening my horizons that much. Sometimes they'll be like, dang, they got jicama now. When did the grocery store get jicama? But for the most part, it's pretty much the same thing day in, day out. Pretty stoked that they started stocking British Columbia Honey Crisps. No disrespect, of course, to the state of Minnesota. I know it's not your fault, really, but like at the same time, I gotta rep the BC. In the battle of two states that have pretty cool flags. Doesn't Minnesota have a cool flag as well? Probably not as cool as ours. It has a bunch of blue squiggly lines and also the sun on it. Some of our license plates have bears on them. I don't know if you've seen them. It's pretty chill up here. From a like civic symbol standpoint, I suppose. Anyway. Hold on, man. I like to do an inventory as soon as I run out of banter topics, an inventory of the run. How does it stand? I would go ahead and call it. Obviously, mathematically, this run can be lost, but I would put it in the unlosable tier. Our DPS is simply too high, and we have a little bit of defense. Not a lot, because it's just like Spirit Penny or whatever this is called, but we have enough defense that I feel pretty good about things. I'd like to think, at least. Excuse me? If you could stop moving, please. Played some pretty good games today, too. The game drought, as it's been called, I need to speak a little bit on the game drought, okay? People seem to be of the impression that I'm saying there are no good video games that have been released in the last 6 months. That's not true. Obviously, there are good ones. Even if you go back a little further and, you know, because I want to get a shot in at Expedition 33. Of course, Expedition 33 is a good game, but I thought you were going to disappear too. What I don't think it is a good stream game for me. And good games and good stream games are like a Venn diagram that overlap but aren't one-to-one. And the reason I feel confident saying that, more confident in me saying that than in what your opinion is because A, I'm me, and B, I've been doing this a while. That doesn't mean I'm right, but to me it means I'm more likely to be right than you are, to be honest. Like, if you're a chemical engineer and I went into your workplace and I was like, have you ever considered adding more sodium bicarbonate to buffer the reaction? You would probably be like, yeah, bro, we thought of that like 100 years ago when the process was first documented. It doesn't work. It produces acetylene nicotinamide as a byproduct and everybody in the factory will die. You know, you would probably hit me with something like that. It's the same reason why when you say something like, hey, NL, when are you going to start your Disco Elysium playthrough? I go, bro, can we not do this? Do we have to fight? And the other reason I know that they're different, a good game and a good stream game, is because the feeling of having a good stream and the feeling of playing a good game are two different things. Plenty of good games that lead to horrible streams. Slay the Spire for me, for example. Some streamers have managed to make it work, but Slay the Spire for me, great game to play on the toilet, on the airplane, on the Peloton, on a Disney cruise, waiting for everyone to wake up, etc., etc. Not a good stream game. Usually just leads to non-stop arguments about, like, why didn't you take, you know, Pommel? Dude, Pommel Strike's good. You always underrate draw. And then I go, I've beaten A20 with every character. And then they go, yeah, but you always use Snecko Eye. You use Snecko Eye every single time. And that way, there's no reason for this kind of malarkey, right? I do think that there has been a lower incidence than typical of good stream games recently. And another point for me in that regard is that all of my friends that I stream with are all playing old stuff that they used to play. Now that partly could be just because they're old, like me. And it's gotten to the point where it stopped being an insult. It just starts being like telling the truth, but old, that is. Like Dan's playing Castlevania, Justin's playing Project Zomboid, Apollo's playing The Bazaar, Malf's playing Minecraft, like Mommy's in the basement cooking up the medicine, I'm on the pavement thinking about the government. Mommy's not cooking up the medicine, by the way, now that I think about it. I'm pretty sure that's Johnny. Okay, this run might be losable. Because I'm a fool. That being said, that's why I'm so stoked that today I played 2 new games, and both of them were kind of gas. Broom Sweeper, which is like Minesweeper with roguelike items, was a lot of fun. I'm not sure how the concept is going to scale, but I did 2 runs. Both runs were a little bit different. Only complaint I might have is, even as a guy who's not really that good at Minesweeper, it did feel a little easy, but I was also only on Ascension 1. And then the other one was Lord, which for some reason, Lord 100% looks like a game that I would hate. Because it's a little sort of like wave-killing, mindless type game. Little Mega Bonk, a little Risk of Rain. I'm not insulting Risk of Rain before you call the dogs. I'm just saying the Risk of Rain historically has not been a game that I vibed with that much. Or Risk of Rain 2. But for some reason, Lord hit me in the right spot today, man. Lord helped me. Don't need that yet, huh? I had a good time. And the fact that it's 8-player co-op. Ooh, even though I only played it by myself because all my friends were playing Castlevania, Minecraft, and Project Zomboid. Ooh. It's good. Maybe this could get us out of this mess, because the other thing is the more likely you think that there is a game drought, the less enthusiastic you get about playing new games. So to play some new games that are good reminds me that, wait a second, some of these indie games are all right, man. Makes me more likely to play other indie games in the future, one of which will PMO, and then I'll go back to just playing PUBG again. I can't believe I didn't even play PUBG today, bro. That's how Lord-coded I was. Need a game like that every now and then. And sometimes people will say stuff too, and the answer to this question, unfortunately, is insulting, because the answer is because I'm a person and not like a robot. Sometimes people will be like, how come you like this but you don't like that? This thing that's functionally similar? I don't know, man. How come you like broccoli but you won't eat cauliflower? Like, it's a question for the ages. No, but seriously, how come you like broccoli? Because most people do, of a certain age at least. How come you don't like cauliflower? And don't lie. Don't lie, because there's like possibly children reading the comments. You're gonna say something like they're completely different. No, they're not, bro. You're among friends here. They're not exactly the same, but to call them completely different is well, they're completely different. One's green and one's white, but zucchini and cucumber, they're completely different. If someone put raw zucchini in a Greek salad, you would be like, 1 star, I'm never coming back. What the heck are the courgettes doing in the Greek salad? What? Greek salad with courgettes. Are you daft? Have you gone a chicken and banana? That's Gordon Ramsay, in case you didn't know. We'll definitely take Black Rune. I don't know, man. And you know what? It's because it's a different type of fella. You make your preference on something when you're, let's say, 20. And then for the rest of your life, you think that you maintain that preference, but you aren't actively maintaining that preference. You're remembering the preference of yourself when you were 20. You at 31 might be a big believer in Mega Bonk. You at 31 might be a big believer in the courgette Greek salad, man. That's why I don't like to talk about adults, or talk to adults about movies they watched when they were kids. Because like Transformers 4 is your favorite movie? I didn't realize I was talking to the 11-year-old version of this adult who's in front of me. I want to talk about some stuff you watched recently, so I know that your thoughts are more current and you stand by the positions. I don't want to get in an argument about how that movie actually obviously sucks when it turns out I'm arguing with some 11-year-old in the year 2016. When in reality, they're now like 22 and they're in my chat. That's a lopsided argument, bro. I've never been 11 in 2016. I was like 28 then. 27, 20. To be honest, mostly 27 because my birthday's a little later in the year. But in November. One of the bottom 6 months. Not the bottom. I mean, don't put that evil on me. It's no January. Or February, for that matter. Guys, it's losable. Unk is feeding, bro. I will say when it rains, it pours, because once we lose the aura from purity and also the buff from the candle, it can start to fall apart pretty quick. But we still got a lot of defense. I think we're still going to be chill, man. I think we're going to be all right. I don't remember what you do. be honest, it's going to take a lot of good stuff for me to not just suck all the items up. And that's some good stuff, and that's some good stuff, and we'll suck those items up, and I have no idea, because I haven't even turned the stats on. You know what? Maybe we should reward ourselves. Maybe we should put some skin in the game. If we get 10 wins in a row, we'll turn the stats on. And if we get 25 in a row, external item descriptions gets turned on. How about that? That could be sick, man. Now, is there any reason to deprive ourselves of that? Yeah, bro. It's called the thrill of the freaking hunt. Is there any reason to deprive yourself of any dopamine in the modern day when it's so readily accessible? Yeah, because well, I don't know, I was getting too, like, self-help with it. Long story, it gives us a goal. So by depriving ourselves of something arbitrarily that's readily available, we can incentivize good behavior that benefits us in the long run, but is hard to stick to in the short term because of all this readily available dopamine. Speaking of readily available dopamine, click the like button right now. You didn't say if you enjoyed the video. I was assuming. I mean, it didn't have a bit on the same level as, like, what if hieroglyphics was a spoken language, but there was some heat coming off of it, I thought. It's some good stuff. Please just be dead. I don't want to lose this one after all this. Okay. And maybe at some point we'll even do some alt path stuff. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps it a great deal. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Later!